For 13 years, the Jennian Homes Charles Tour has been a launching pad for Kiwi golfers to hone their game before taking on the world. The list of winners includes a who's who of modern New Zealand golf. The likes of Ryan Fox cut his teeth on the Charles Tour before graduating onto the European Tour. Other leading tour professionals to triumph include four-time winner Josh Geary and five-time champion Mark Brown. Japan Tour professional Michael Hendry is the most decorated Jennian Homes Charles Tour winner with 6 titles, while Lydia Ko won 3 times on tour before becoming a major champion.
New Zealand Golf sees the Jennian Homes Charles Tour as a very important part of the player pathway for our rookie professionals. It gives them the opportunity at home to play 4-round golf tournaments before what we hope are successful international campaigns. Playing week in, week out, playing 4-round tournaments is what these guys are going to experience overseas. Having these guys experience what 72 holes is about, trying to make a cut. So just like a PGA Tour event, and that's what we're trying to replicate here.
Over the last 3 years of the tour, even more is at stake for New Zealand's leading pros and elite amateurs. The Jennian Homes Trophy crowns the best golfer that season.
They play the events throughout the year and they earn points, and it's a bit like the FedEx Cup, but in reverse. The most points they get, the better they do. And so, from our point of view, it's rewarding not only excellence, but the consistency of good performance.
With 5 events over the 2017-18 season, there was plenty to play for on the Jennian Homes Charles Tour, which started in October in the South Island. A soggy Harewood Golf Club in Christchurch greeted golfers on the final day of the opening Jennian Homes Charles Tour event of the season, the John Jones Steel Harewood Open. Staged at a slightly earlier date than usual, the tournament attracted the strongest field in its 5-year history. And surging to a 6-shot lead after 54 holes was one of the country's most promising professionals, Harry Bateman. The Masterton golfer can thank a second round 7-under 65 for his 6-shot buffer heading into the final round. And with wind and constant drizzle challenging the field, par golf was the order of the day, where Bateman pulled off a number of great par saves early in the round, plus a birdie to see him retain his 6-shot lead at 13 under through the turn. The race was on for second spot, with defending Jennian Homes Charles Tour Trophy champion Gareth Patterson displaying attacking golf, but desperately unlucky on a number of occasions. The Wellingtonian mixing 3 birdies and 3 bogeys for the day. That saw young pro Victor Jennian move up the Harewood Open leaderboard thanks to 4 birdies and 4 bogeys. The Rotorua pro finishing in a share of second for his best finish on the Charles Tour. Joining him on 7 under was James Anstis. Fresh off the plane from 3 years at Southeastern Louisiana University, Anstis posted an impressive 4 under final round to finish in a share of second. While Anstis was clear leading amateur, there was no stopping Harry Bateman's stroll to the Harewood Open title. The 26-year-old nailed back-to-back birdies on the 12th and 13th, and had a look at eagle following this approach into the par 5 16th. Bateman may have only walked away with birdie, but his lead was now 8 shots. Harry Bateman then calmly put the finishing touches on a 3-under closing round to win the John Jones Steel Harewood Open and capture his first ever Jennian Homes Charles Tour title.
Feels awesome. Yeah, I'm really wrapped. I've had a couple of 3 second place finishes, so it feels like a little bit of a monkey off my back. And I feel like I've been good enough to win one of these for a couple of years now, but it just hasn't happened. And to finally get it done and play really well today and with the lead was awesome.
So Harry Bateman cruises to an 8-shot victory over the strongest ever Harewood Open field. Victor Jennian and James Anstis share second, with David Smale pipping Gareth Patterson to 4th spot. There was a familiar name atop the leaderboard heading into the final round of the Women's Championship, as 2-time Harewood Open winner Chantal Cassidy held a 6-shot lead. And the Waikato amateur didn't back off, mixing 3 birdies and 2 bogeys around the Woodland course. The only female to go under par on a difficult final day. Chantal Cassidy carding a 1-under 71 to cruise to a 7-shot victory at the John Jones Steel Harewood Open, her 3rd win in 4 years.
It feels really good to get my 3rd title here. I'm not too sure. I think it just suits my game. I think just the atmosphere at Hayward Golf Club literally feels like my home club really, and the members here are just so lovely.
So Chantel Cassidy captures her 5th Jennian Homes Charles Tour title with a 7-shot win at Harewood. Canterbury's Amelia Garvey claimed 2nd, and defending champion Rose Zheng settled for 3rd. 100 of New Zealand's top local golfers descended on New Plymouth Golf Club for the Augusta Funds Ngāmutu Classic, 2nd stop on the Jennian Homes Charles Tour season. The always testing conditions on the Ngāmutu links produced a compact leaderboard heading into the final round, where Daniel Pearce shared the lead thanks to a 9-under 2nd round. Joining him on 10 under after 54 holes was Jared Pender, with Harry Bateman on 8 under looking for back-to-back Charles Tour titles. Te Puke's Pender was first to make a move, going 2 clear when he chipped in for eagle on the 5th. Pender's quest for a first-ever Charles Tour victory came unstuck on the 6th and 7th holes with back-to-back bogeys. As he slipped back to 10 under, Pearce used his prodigious length to register a 2-putt birdie on the par 5 7th. The Ashburton Pro now 11 under, 1 clear of Pender. As the leaders moved through the wind-battered back 9, it was a case of survival mode for those in contention, and Pearce came unstuck on the par 3s, dropping a shot on the 11th and then finding the front bunker on Ngāmutu's famous 13th. The 28-year-old lucky to escape with just bogey. Pender was also off the green following 2 shots on the par 3 13th, but drained this spectacular putt from the collar to save par and remain at 10 under, now outright leader. Bateman, winner the previous week at Harewood, had a colourful front 9 mixing 4 birdies and 4 bogeys. But the Masterton Pro conjured up some magic on the same brutal 13th to move to 9 under, tied with Pearce, the duo now 1 back of Pender. Pearce then got this revenge on the par 4 14th. With a tailwind gusting off the Tasman, he bombed his drive to within 2 metres of the green. The 2015 Uruguay Open champion then got up and down for a simple birdie to move back to 10 under, tied with Pender. On to the 16th, and Pender's par putt evaded the hole. He slipped to 9 under, with Pearce now outright leader. Following this birdie on 17, Pearce climbed to 11 under to take a 1-shot lead into the 72nd hole. And he needed that buffer when he left this nervy par putt to secure his 2nd Jennian Homes Charles Tour title. Daniel Pearce surviving a nerve-wracking final day to win the Augusta Funds Ngāmutu Classic by a single shot.
Oh, it's awesome. Yeah, no, it's great to get another win on the Charles Tour and to get it here in Taranaki, where I've been playing, I don't know, for probably nearly 10 years, I guess. So it's awesome to get a win here.
The Women's Championship saw a battle of youth versus experience, where Karen Koo, recently returned from 5 years at the University of Nevada, held a 2-shot lead over Pakuranga clubmate Rose Zheng. And Koo used her US college experience to hang tough in the windy conditions and close out her first Jennian Homes Charles Tour title, winning the Augusta Funds Ngāmutu Classic by 3 shots.
I'm stoked, but mostly relieved to have gotten my first win here. It's been a while since I've won, and also it's been a long week. I limited my mistakes to just bogeys and didn't make big numbers. That was the key.
With a win and a share of 4th this season, Harry Bateman leads the Jennian Homes Charles Tour Trophy points race. Fellow winner Daniel Pearce holds 2nd spot, with Mark Brown 170 points back in 3rd. Third stop of the Jennian Homes Charles Tour season saw a field of 114 gather in central Auckland for the Barfoot and Thompson Akarana Open. The final round featured perfect scoring conditions, with all eyes on Daniel Pearce to see if he could win back-to-back Charles Tour titles. Early frustrations for defending champ Gareth Patterson kept him from matching Pearce's pace. but birdies at the 10th and 12th holes respectively had him reclaim second on the leaderboard. But it was a masterclass at the front, with Pearce maintaining his lead, the 29-year-old never letting Patterson and the chasing pack within 3 shots. A birdie at the 8th made it 3 on the front 9. The 29-year-old picked up further shots on 10 and 11 to quickly be out of reach. Down the back stretch, it was all on to see who could snare second. Patterson's approach into 18 good enough for birdie, and a runner-up finish to go with 2 previous Akarana titles. It was then over to Pearce to close out a 3-shot victory at the Barfoot and Thompson Akarana Open. And with just 2 events remaining, Pearce is in prime position to take out the Jennian Homes Charles Tour Series.
Winning's always fun. It always puts a smile on your face. I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing, and if I get the W the next couple of weeks, then that'll be unreal, but if not, it is what it is.
In the women's field, 2 teen sensations held the 54-hole lead. Darai Chung of Lower Hutt and Auckland's Vivian Liu, both sharing birdies on the opening hole. Unfortunately for Liu, the second hole would see her lose the lead to Chung. After squaring up at the turn, the lead was once again shared until the par 4 13th. Vivian Liu finally regaining the top spot with birdie. But it wasn't for long, and at the final tee box, the 2 13-year-olds were neck and neck. Unfortunately, Chung found the trees at 18, forcing her to take a drop, opening the door for Vivian Liu to complete her wire-to-wire victory with par at the 18th. An incredible achievement for the young amateur, securing the biggest win of her career.
Feels good because I've been working really hard every day practicing, and the hard work has paid off today, so very happy.
After 3 events, Daniel Pearce tops the Jennian Homes Trophy points race, having won 2 tournaments. Harry Bateman won the first tournament, and he's in second place on 677 points. And then only 7.5 points separating Gareth Patterson and Mark Brown in 3rd and 4th. Wet and blustery conditions greeted the field for the 4th stop of the Jennian Homes Charles Tour, the Ortex Muriwai Open. The weather didn't put a dampener on women's 54-hole leader Minchin Kay, who carried a 6-shot lead into the final round. The China Tour Pro extended her buffer on the rest of the women's field with a birdie on the par 5 6th, a solid par on 7, and a near-perfect shot on the par 3 8th. Consistency was the key for the Aucklander, making par on her final 10 holes of the day. No one got close to Kay all tournament, capturing her 3rd Ortex Muriwai Open trophy by an astonishing 9 shots.
Yeah, it means a lot, being able to play well home, and then, it's really a confident booster. So, yeah, it's always a challenge coming out here with the wind, and that definitely helps when you're overseas. So, yeah.
On the men's side of the draw, it became a back 9 shootout between defending champion Gareth Patterson and Otago rookie pro James Anstis. On the 12th, Anstis took the initiative after laying up for his second, and then put his pitch to within 10 feet, resulting in birdie. It was matched by the Tour veteran with a clutch up and down to remain tied for the lead. Anstis followed an eagle on 14 with birdie on the 16th after hitting this fine approach to within 3 feet. Facing a potential 3-shot deficit, Patterson nailed his 12-foot par saver to remain 2 back of Anstis. The par putt sparked Patterson once again. He hit his tee shot here at 17 to within gimme range. And with the Otago youngster dropping a shot on the last, Patterson tapped in to send the Muriwai Open to extra holes. After matching pars on their return trip up 18, Anstis was in trouble on the second extra hole, hitting the pin and leaving 12 feet for par. The defending champ didn't seize the opportunity. His winning putt slid by, sending the duo back to the 18th tee for a 3rd playoff hole. With both looking at birdie putts, Anstis' effort lipped out, leaving the door ajar for Patterson to go back-to-back. He wasn't to be denied for a 3rd time. Gareth Patterson rolling in the birdie to capture his second Ortex Muriwai Open in as many years.
Gosh, it's always great to defend your title. I think it's the first title defence that I've had, so yeah, it means a lot to defend my title, come out here, especially when you're one behind with 2 to play and halve it and then miss a couple of opportunities, but third time's a charm on the third playoff hole.
So leading the Jennian Homes Trophy points race ahead of the final event is Daniel Pearce. But with Patterson and Harry Bateman on overseas duty, it'll be left to James Anstis to reel in Daniel Pearce in Tauranga.
Yeah, I just got to play a bit better. I didn't hit it that well off the tee at times, and I didn't putt very well this week, so a bit of a stark contrast to last week. So if I can putt a little bit better next week, then I'll certainly give myself a chance. If I manage to get it done next week, it'll be awesome.
The fifth and final event of the Jennian Homes Charles Tour season saw a top field descend on Tauranga Golf Club for the Caris Open. The Greerton course is a second home for 3-time champion Mark Brown, who showed just how familiar he is in these surroundings when he carded the magical figure of 59, which was very nearly a 58 had this putt dropped. It's Brown's second ever 59 at the Caris Open.
I was actually going to try and go lower than a 59 this time, and I just didn't play 2 or 3 holes well towards the end, but sort of made a good chip in on the second to last hole to get me to 11 under, so it was nice.
As well as the Caris Open, also on the line was the season-long points race to win the Jennian Homes Trophy. Daniel Pearce was in pole position, with James Anstis also in the field and needing 500 points from victory to claim the trophy.
I have to win this week to win it, which is actually quite a good feeling. You know, it just means that unless he finishes second or third, I'm going to take it out, which is quite good.
But Anstis would have plenty of work to do to overtake Pearce. The rookie would first have to haul in 54-hole leader Mark Brown, the defending champion, 5 shots ahead of Anstis and with a 1-shot buffer over Kerry Mountcastle. That margin disappeared on the very first hole of the final round when the former European Tour pro missed this par putt. Although he very nearly got the lead back in impressive style, a few inches away from holing out off the tee on the par 4 second hole. He'd settled for birdie to restore his lead at 15 under. Masterton amateur Mountcastle also got to 15 under with birdie on the third. But back-to-back bogeys and then birdie on the par 5 sixth saw him return to 14 under where he started the day. Playing alongside Mountcastle and Brown was Lockie McDonald, looking for his first Charles Tour win. Beginning the day at 13 under, his putter was dialed in. Birdies on the back-to-back par 3 holes, 4 and 5, saw him join Brown at 15 under. A group ahead was James Anstis, who poured in this long-range eagle on the 6th hole, but that only counted 2 front 9 bogeys. The Otago professional only able to muster an even par round, handing the Jennian Homes Trophy to Daniel Pearce. The race for the Caris Open was still very much in the balance as Brown got to 16 under, following this exquisite eagle chip on the long par 5 7th, resulting in a tap-in birdie. The very next hole, Martin's McDonald joined Brown on 16 under with another display of his putting prowess. A third golfer would soon get to that mark. Dongwoo Kang fired off 7 birdies through the opening 13 holes to join Brown and McDonald at 16 under. The pressure began to tell as Brown bogeyed holes 11 and 14 to go with a birdie at 13 to fall back to 15 under. McDonald hit his drive on the par 5 13th into the neighbouring race course to also drop back to 15 under, a shot adrift of Kang. As nerves took hold, Mountcastle stayed rock solid in his quest for a first Charles Tour title. The New Zealand stroke play champion nailing 2 crucial birdie chances on 13 and 15 to jump into a share of the lead. After his earlier birdie spree, Kang parred his way towards the clubhouse, and on his final hole of the season needed another par to retain his place atop the leaderboard. It would slide by, dropping to 15 under and handing Mountcastle the outright lead. The final trio made their way to the 72nd hole. Brown and McDonald hoping for birdies to give them a chance. Up stepped Brown, but his birdie putt raced by and he finished on 15 under. McDonald's touch with the putter deserted him on the final hole, ending his shot at the title. The stage was clear for Mountcastle. Having played steady all day, he again showed nerves of steel to seal the win with par. Kerry Mountcastle, the 2018 Karis Tauranga Open champion, and a first ever Jennian Homes Charles Tour title.
It's great. It's a great experience to win one of these events. The other amateurs that have won these events are doing good things at the moment, so to join that group is quite nice.
So Kerry Mountcastle adds the Karis Open to his New Zealand stroke play title from earlier this summer. Dongwoo Kang, Lockie McDonald and Mark Brown sharing second, a shot back. The Women's Championship was a final day showdown between Brittany Dryland and Karen Koo, both looking for second Charles Tour titles. And it was Dryland who carded the round of the day, a 2 under 70 to finish on an impressive 10 under for the tournament and win the Karis Open by a commanding 5 shots.
I do feel like I was surely going to get a win soon. Like, I've been playing pretty consistently, especially the last 3 weeks with 3 in a row. Feels amazing actually to play good the whole week, so yeah, I'm pretty stoked.
So Dryland adds the Karis Open to the Akarana Open won 2 years ago. Fellow Titirangi golfer Marie Young finished second with Carmen Lim, a shot back in third. The big prize of the Charles Tour season belongs to Daniel Pearce. Wins at Namotu and Akarana sealed the Jennian Homes trophy for the 29-year-old, who writes his name into New Zealand golfing history.
Felt really good both those weeks, and it just helped me play really good golf, so it's just a matter of trying to build on those comfortable feelings, I guess, that I had for those 2 weeks. So to get to win the Jennian Homes trophy is really cool.